go there.
Get on up.
Everybody right there.
Get into it.
Everybody right there.
Get involved.
Everybody just come on up. Come on up.
Hi, I'm here today with Lorna Hill, the founder and artistic director of Ujima Theater. Thanks for being here with us today.
You're very welcome.
So you and Ujima have a few new productions coming up, The Submission and Free Fred Brown. So could you tell us very briefly about those productions and about the process of creating Free Fred Brown?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to read the description of The Submission with a few additions. Danny has written a complex new drama about an African-American family trying to get out of the projects, and it has just been selected for the nation's preeminent play festival, which is the Humana Festival. The problem is, Danny is a young, white, gay playwright. He submitted the work under a pen name and in the hope of increasing its chances of production. He hired Emily, a black actress, to stand in for him as playwright. What starts as a terrible idea becomes more and more terrible as Danny drags Emily, his boyfriend, and his best friend down a long and dirty path of truth, lies, revelation, and betrayal. So, it's very funny, believe it or not, and it is very much a play about how two communities view each other, how they speak of each other, how they think of each other. And while there are specific 4 characters, so we don't want to overgeneralize, there are many things in it that will be familiar to everyone. And we never have the conversation. I know for myself, I never even have the conversation with my gay male friends. And there are enough of them for me to have that conversation, but it's a touchy conversation.
Right.
And it's jam-packed with controversial ideas. So Javier Bastillos from BUA, Buffalo United Artists, asked Ujima to co-produce the play, and I read the play and I said, yes, we will co-produce it, and I would like to direct it, and I would like to get the play past the theater doors. So we'll run the play for 3 weeks at Alleyways Cabaret Theater, and then it will be available for several performances in the community at large, and those places are yet to be determined. The play has some very strong language, so we won't be taking it to churches more than likely, and we certainly won't be taking it to schools. But community centers, if someone has a living room large enough to seat 50 people, we'll take it to places where people want to have that conversation, because after the performances, there will be a talk back. And hopefully people will feel, well, this is a safe place to have this conversation. I'm going to say what I think. I'm going to talk about my experience.
Right, right. And what are the dates for those performances?
September 16th through October 1st. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
For 3 weeks.
Excellent. And with Free Fred Brown, you described a little bit on the Pull Good about what that process was like in its creation. Could you talk a little bit about that?
I want to say first that I've never been more excited about a play. This is a devised theater project. Now, I did this play originally in the early 80s at the request of the Black Mountain College. They asked me to write a play. And I wrote a play called Free Fred Brown that was inspired by the true story of one of our company members. All these many years later, Ujima is part of the Crossroads Collective, and we're working at the intersection of climate justice, economic justice, and racial justice. So I said, well, this is the time to bring Free Fred Brown back, but we're going to change how we put it together this time.
Right.
So we're starting the process with 25 actors who have committed to work over months on creating the play, creating the characters, fleshing out the scenario, because that's a given, and bringing their personal stories into it to some extent, using their personal background to create characters. Sometimes that background might be used by a different person, so you can't assume when you see the play that the person is talking about her or himself. So it's a devised theater project. What makes it extra exciting is that the real work of the play is to educate the community. It'll be very entertaining. There'll be music, there'll be humor, but the purpose is to educate the community, to show them what we look like in terms of utilities / energy, race, and economy. I forgot where I was going with that. But to show them what we look like. And so that work begins with the 25 actors who are actually creating the piece. They are learning. And that's a great place to start a project.
Definitely. Yeah, we look forward to seeing that when that
Yes.
all comes together. And can you tell us a little bit about the state of Black theater in the U.S. broadly, and also, you know, how you see that working in Buffalo?
Well, if there is some particular good news, I haven't heard it. Black theaters have been choking to death ever since they started, and it only gets worse. We don't have nearly as many as we used to have. Many of the old companies that inspired my generation are gone now. Funding, I don't think has gotten any easier. I would like to think that funders have a better idea of what Black theater actually is now. It used to be a difficult process also because they really didn't get it. But in an effort to diversify the programming of mainstream theaters, also in the Black community known as white theaters, they've added to the stress of our staying in business. They've added to the difficulty. So now Black theaters have to compete with traditionally white theaters and mainstream theaters for dollars to produce Black theater. And that's tough. Traditionally, they have larger spaces, much larger budgets, much greater access to funding. So it's difficult. But it doesn't run a company like Ujima out of the game.
For sure, it doesn't. Yeah, by the sounds of it. So, well, thanks for being here with us today, Lorna, and we look forward to these future productions.
Thank you.